Cancer, June 22nd to July 22nd. Cancers at their best are intuitive, nurturing, and sensitive. Cancers at their worst are emotional, insecure, and manic. Cancer's horoscope is, cherish what you have. You won't have it always.
My name is Carcat Vantis. For the humans in the audience reading this tale of woe and regret, please understand I am a troll. I will do my best to make this as readable for your inferior minds as possible.
I guess that includes dropping my quirk. June says it's overbearing. I say fuck her, but she's the human expert, not me. I could be a human expert if I so chose, but the prospect strikes me as not only laughable but distasteful outright. I wouldn't want to be an expert in anything but what I am. Martial, interpersonal, and leaderly prowess. Anyway, I've decided to write this tome to inform the four of you, June, Dave, Rose, and Jade, of the exploits of my compatriots. A foreword. Please do not extrapolate the behavior of my associates onto the entire troll species. Of them, I am the only exemplar of the noble troll race, with the possible addition of Kanaya. The rest of them are a bunch of fucking weirdos. Second, please refrain from any judgments vis-a-vis cultural differences. I will also try to use your human vernacular as much as I can, as much as it disgusts me. With that out of the way, let's begin our excellent tale. Reserve any kudos and praise until the end. I will allow the humans to make notes for my later extrapolation. So, without further ado, HIVEBENT. A young man sits in his respite block. It so happens that this day, the 12th sun cycle of the 6th lunar perigee, is this humble young man's wriggling day.
Editor's notes. No one knows what that is, man.
The double-vesseled shell nut gallery has already poked its horrible head in to mock me. Thank you, Dave. A wriggling day, because apparently even the most simple cultural concepts require elaboration, is the rough equivalent of a troll's birthday in human terms. Imagine, if you will, a moist cave in the depths of the ground. Over thousands of sweeps, a finely tuned biological evolutionary machine has been humming. The Mother Grub, matriarch of all troll kind. In her vast stomach, she incubates innumerable eggs, some of which are destined to become massive, mindless drone warriors for her cause, but the lucky few that she deigns to fertilize with the genetic slurry of her spawn become trolls. But this miracle of birth is not the end of the story, for the hundreds of troll wigglers that are born each day must pass 3 trials before they emerge and claim their life on the harsh Alternian landscape.
Editor's notes. I think we are getting into the weeds here, vis-a-vis eggs and genetic slurry.
Do you want to know how we're born, or don't you? I happen to be an Alternian history hobbyist. Jigus suffering Christ, you'd think a Xeno like you would appreciate being taught on the matters of troll biology. Where was I? The trials. Trial the first. The trial of wriggling. A troll, after hatching, must wriggle its insectoid, triple-segmented larval body out from amidst its peers and unhatched eggs. Should they fail, they will suffocate under the mass of their clutchmates, or worse, get eaten by them. This is where the term wriggling day comes from. Trial the second. The trial of emergence. Once a wiggler emerges from its incestuous heap, it must compete fervently with its peers to make its way to the surface or starve inside the cave, or worse, be devoured by the mother grub herself. Trial the third. The trial of wilderness. After emerging from the caverns, the wiggler must hope it is selected by one of Alternia's guardians. Otherwise, you guessed it, they get fucking eaten. Each day, 400,000 eggs are laid. Of them, 10,000 are trolls. Of the trolls, only 100 or so survive their first day on the planet.
Editor's notes. Holy shit, that's brutal as hell.
Thank you, Dave. It is efficient and swift, filtering out the weak. However, the Alternian population is severely dwindling due to the advanced age of the current mother grub. Only about 1 million are extant, and of them, there are only 20,000 on the planet's surface. Or, I should say they were extant. Alternia, as you can probably guess, is gone. I hate to admit it, but Dave is right. We are in the weeds here. You're not here for fun statistics about some dead fucking planet. You're here to hear how it got own-zoned. You're here to hear about the stud who saved his friends, and how he, and by extension they, triumphed over the game.
Editor's notes. Lol. Lmao.
Humans, keep your beshaded bastard friend in check, or I'll shove my fucking boot up his waist chute. Anyway, back to the man of the hour. Me. As this night marks the man's birthday, his age number increases, of course, by 1, making him 7 sweeps old. And before anyone can make another sly little note, a sweep is approximately 2.5 human years. Thanks Solix for that math. Anyway, this handsome, serene young man did not know this, but his 7th wriggling day would be the beginning of the greatest and most vital quest of his life. Well, okay, I kind of did, but not in the way I assumed. See, when trolls turn 7, they are enlisted mandatorily in the Alternian Armed Forces to serve their planet across the stars, taking the galaxy for our monarch, her imperious condescension. That's why so few of us are actually on the planet. Normally, that's what would have happened, but it didn't for me. That particular night, I stood in my room leaning upon the wall, very casually, and I am sure very suavely, awaiting some correspondence from my friends on the Husk top computer I was afforded by my modest salary. My bags had been packed for my internet conscription, a day I had awaited excitedly for sweeps, and the other fellows in my barracks were stopping by to congratulate me for living to the requisite conscription age, for of course only approximately 50% of the trainees do. The barracks were a buzzing, massive place, a place where boys became men, girls became women, and bodies became corpses. I do not mean to toot my own sound chute, but I was training to participate in the noble Thresh-Secutioner's forces come conscription day. My fellow recruits jealously regarded me, as I was finally on my way to be the finest alien murderer the planet had ever seen. Sadly, however, as the readers of this tome know, it was not to be, for fate had different plans for me. "Karkat," said one of my fellow trainees, a younger boy by the name of Casper, poking his head through my hive flap. He and I were the bosomest of buddies, as naturally his modest barrack hive was next to mine, being the next name alphabetically. "I'm so happy to see you go, yet incredibly jealous that you, a special and fantastic person, are leaving," he said tearfully.
Not to worry, Casper, my boy.
I nobly said.
You will follow me soon, for I trust that you will not be killed in this brutal training regimen like so many of our sorority.
"I could never be as good as you," Casper insisted in a voice that was noble, but not as noble as mine. for you graduated our ranks without once spilling a drop of blood.
Indeed.
I replied, humbly, and with great yet affable pride.
But even though my skill and quality is above what anyone else could hope to achieve, you will join me soon.
Editor's note. No offense, Carcat, but no one is gonna believe this. Eat shit. This is how it happened, June. More or less. The thing about the blood was true. Whatever. If you want more direct accounts, I have preserved some various logs of my correspondence for such an occasion. Shortly after Casper left my room, I spoke to my associate Solix. If you're so skeptical, you can read our explicit words.
Congratulations on making it to 7, Carcat.
227? Oh, 27. Thank you, Solix. I'm sure you're jealous of my imminent conscription.
Not really, TBH. When I get conscripted, it won't be as some fancy thresh-ecutioner, it'll probably just be as something shitty.
Nonsense. Your caste has options. You should have enlisted to train somewhere, like me, instead of wasting your time with computers.
Whatever. If you're gonna be a dickhead, I'm just going to leave. I was going to offer you a chance to play a game with me, for old time's sake. One last sesh with my friend before he leaves to go die for the Empress?
Hold on now. I have time to play a game. I'm not going to lie and say I'm not a little sad to leave you guys, even though I'm not friends with anyone. That emotion is a disease upon troll kind.
Oh my god, would you shut the fuck up, dude? You didn't used to be a little walking propaganda pamphlet. You know what? Fuck this. I'm not gonna play with you if you're going to be like this.
Fine. Fuck. I'm sorry. There. Happy? Let's play the stupid game.
Fine. I just sent a copy to your T-mail.
Really? Don't games usually come on discs?
Usually, but I thought using discs would cause problems down the line.
Agreed. Discs and related shenanigans thereof are pointless. Okay, which one do I install? Client or server?
Neither, for now. It's gonna work like this. We'll each make a team and compete to see who can finish the game first. I'm blue leader, you're red leader.
Red leader. Are you trying to say something?
I don't know what you mean.
Why am I specifically red leader?
You're reading too much into it, bro. Just pick your teammates before I get all the good ones.
Fine.
In spite of my perhaps flippant tone, I was excited for one last game with my compatriots. I hastily contacted the fellow I knew I could count on to play with me.
Gamzee. Gamzee, answer. You're completely useless for a high blood.
Yo, K-Man. K-Money, get down.
You get one more.
Big Funky K. What in the good God above is up, my man? I heard the big news.
If you had heard the big news, you know what's up. Have you been eating pies again?
Why would I not imbibe of the pies, big cat? Them shits cure the buzzing in my cranium.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm sending you a file. Install the server application post-haste.
What's the magic word, honk?
Oh my fucking god. Please?
There. It takes more muscles to frown than to smile, my angry little buddy.
Well, it's going to take more muscles to headbutt you in the shame globes, but it's also more gratifying.
Oh, are we about to play a game, dude? For good old time's sake? Honk.
Don't make it weird. But, yes, I'm constructing a team to beat the game faster than Solix's team. You're my first choice.
Cockhead, I'm shedding a solitary tear here. You're saying that I'm your first teammate? Honk.
Oh my god, shut up. You're just the first person I saw, okay?
Nah, dude, you knew I'd be sure to say yes on account of the best friends that we are.
Okay, never mind. I'm sending the files to Eridan.
Too late, my dude. I already went and installed that shit whilst you were no doubt tapping in fury. Now quit your verbal squirmage, dude bro. Connect to me as your miraculous server player, and I shall guide you to victory.
Fine. You'd better not fuck this up. This is important. The last game I'll ever play with you guys.
Gamzee agreed to be my server player, something which I was secretly very happy about. Secretly happy is the preferred type of happiness to all trolls. It was bittersweet. One final childish game before adulthood. I felt a pang of malaise as I realized that I was not ready to outgrow the things I loved so dear. As my Husk top screen swirled and loaded the game, I felt a sense of trepidation, promising to savor every moment with my friends. I would of course never ever tell them this, because bearing your feelings is humiliating as it is laughable. To my shock and alarm, but likely not yours, what happened next was of course the beginning of the game that would end our world. The game began innocuously. I discovered Gamzee could see my domicile, and we quickly deciphered our next move. Awaken the game constructs and enter the world of the medium, just like you had. Gamzee, due to being an addlepated soper-drunk clown, placed my entry gadgets around the compound haphazardly. The Cruxtruder ended up in my room, but the Alchemeter landed on my roof. The barracks I lived in were arranged in rows, a single room each, metal pods for us to live in, with all the amenities we required. That is to say, no amenities. When an Alchemeter appeared on my roof, my Lussus, who we were allowed to keep on the premises, took notice, even though it flew over the heads of my commanding officers and barrack mates, for reasons that will soon become clear.
Editor's note. What's a lusus?
Holy shit. That is the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life. I guess I have to explain the simplest of things for our human counterparts. Lussi, or Lussus naturae, are our animal guardians, which I mentioned in brief before when discussing the caverns and trials. With the Lussi, we have a symbiosis. Each trolls is a different type of beast, denoted by their alabaster skin and fur.
Editor's note. So they're an animal who is also your dad. Got it.
Whatever strokes your reproductive cylinder, I guess. My Lussus, going by the moniker of Crab Dad, took note of my hive's state and came to bother me about it. He did this in his usual fashion, screaming at me at the top of his lungs and trying to manhandle me back into my Recupaccoon. And before any shitty editors ask, a Recupaccoon is a moist husk we fill with a special pacifying slime to keep us calm while we sleep during the day. It is the stuff Gamzee drinks that gets him all fucked up.
Editor's note, please don't say moist husk.
Ugh. Due to my own personal convictions, I am now going to reiterate. Moist husk. Eat my dilating waste valve, Rose. My crab father was my beloved guardian of 7 sweeps. He was double my height when on his hind legs, and sported 2 menacing claws with which he used to kill my foes. Unlike most Lussi, he did not choose me upon my emergence from the brood caverns, a fact which haunted my mind in my formative years, but I have now come to understand. Crab Dad was my loyal Lussus and guardian, and I had a great deal of love for him, in spite of the fact that he was 10 imperial shafts high and could not speak Alternian, only chitter and growl. As trollanoid crabs go, he was one of the greatest. Still, my lussutage is not the subject of this account. I pacified my aggrieving crab dad in my usual way, by dueling him with one of the standard-issue sickles all prospective thresh-secutioners do battle with, which was at hand in my hive. Unfortunately, that choice would be my undoing. As stated before, I had never shed blood in my entire tenure at boot camp. This is both because I am an excellent fighter, as well as because my blood holds a dark, dark secret. Unfortunately, on my last day at camp, that secret emerged from under my skin, my finger slashed by my own errant sickle. My blood, my closest kept secret, spilled forth from my own hands and spilled onto the dusty ground. Crabdad, knowing the danger in this, hastily bandaged my hand, but the damage was done. My blood shone on my hand, marking me for the freak I was. The blood in my veins. My shame.
Editor's notes. Wait, your blood was a secret? Why?
I'll explain later, shitheel. It's a sensitive subject. After my bloodshed, I hastened to cancel my game plans with Gamzee and Solix.
I can no longer play this game. I apologize to both of you.
Hold up. What?
What the fuck, dude? Getting you to agree was like pulling fucking teeth.
Well, I can't. That's that. Sorry. Something came up.
Is it on account of your busted up finger?
What the fuck? How do you know that? Can you see me? Fuck, am I on camera?
Relax, shithead. If you made Gamzee your server player, he can see you. That's how he put your machines down. And you can't not play the game now, dumbass. It's too late.
What the fuck does that mean? Are you threatening me?
Solix did not need to answer, for our ill-fated argument was interrupted by a commotion outside. When I emerged into the rows of barrack hives from my own, to my shock but not the readers', I witnessed, high above my home, a massive meteor en route to my camp. In that moment, I was stunned. The unique shock and terror clear and present to those who play the game. I'm sure that the humans reading this can comprehend the existential dread that exists in that fleeting, bone-chilling moment. Panic overtook my fellow trainees. It was pandemonium, officers and grunts alike, howling and making their futile escapes. On the one hand, this distracted them from my cut, but on the other, it spelled our doom. I remember seeing Casper stare at the heavens with a disbelief that chilled me to the core. The meteor's fiery tail shone in his eyes, his body more still than I had ever seen him. I mistook this meteor for the doing of Solix's and decided to spend what I believed to be my last moments berating him.
Solix, you fucking traitor. Is this some sick prank? There's a meteor. The game made a meteor.
It didn't make anything, Carcat. Just shut the fuck up and listen to me. Get inside the game or get crushed by a meteor. Got it?
Why should I trust you? Is this some elaborate scheme? Did you summon this meteor with your accursed psionics? Answer me.
You ought to be nicer to your friends.
In disgust and sheer fear, I reemerged from the barrack hive. On Gamzee's instruction, I used my sickle to extrude the totem and kernel, but Crabdad still didn't allow me to go outside to tend to the alchemeter. Doubt filled my actions, but there was little choice in the matter when the decision must be made between absurdity and death by meteor. Alchemeters, cruxtruders, it was also new to me, and I clung to them like a survivor to a lifeboat. I can imagine you all felt the same when you realized impending doom and awaited your home planet. The meteor felt hot, like it was burning the air around me. As I worked, I looked out the window and still saw Casper rooted in place, as if meditating, eyes glued to that infernal rock, like he was looking at the god of double death himself, having a staring contest. The barrack hive was alive with panic and rage. Never had I seen trolls so helpless. I felt some cruel twist of fate. I was supposed to be a Thresh-executioner, bringing ruin on planets. I was supposed to be the meteor. I was supposed to invoke fear and helplessness. Yet here I was, sweating bullets, while my friend watched on in paralyzed disbelief. My entire world was inside that barrack hive. My sickles, my computer, my lussus, all of which were betraying me today. My sickles had opened my skin, my lussus was preventing my salvation, and my computer had brought it all upon me. The game that darkened my screen I cursed in that moment, but through it, my tiny world was about to to open. The kernel, round and ready to be prototyped, buzzed beside my head. I attempted to clear the stairs and make it to the barrack roof, but Crab Dad barred the way impudently. How I wished I could tell him what the hell was going on. It's true what they say. Parents just don't understand. Alternia, the planet I was born on, is a brutal place. The small moments of respite between grinding, horrid violence are few and far between, and they usually occurred when I was in the arms of my crabby guardian. I had always known my Lussus wasn't long for the world, for a Wiggler must outlive their custodian, but I didn't know the day would be one that a meteor bore down on me and my fellow trainees' homes. My Crab Dad, in an earnest attempt to keep me from revealing my secret blood, tried to stop me from leaving the hive, and myself in my terror, confusion, and panic struck him down with the only tool I had to hand, the sickle that had cut my own palms. To my shock, from his own carcass spilt the same crimson I'd cursed myself for possessing inside my veins. I had not only slain my only guardian, but the only other being on the planet that understood my plight. I didn't have time to mourn him, but I wouldn't need any either. On the roof, I brushed back my tears as I entered the world of the game, escaping the meteor in one instant of relief. My one regret was killing my guardian, but when I watched Alternia slide away, I was saved that regret. My custodian obtained new life inside my kernel. Instead of dripping blood when I came down, I saw my beloved guardian born again in the form of my partner on my quest. My sprite. Crab Dad sprite. To say the least, after that ordeal, I was exhausted in the highest regard. I contacted my friends once more.
I'm in. Start explaining, Solix.
He's still offline. And I hate to do this, but I've got a situation of my own here. I do believe I will have to find a server of my own pretty fast.
No, fuck. Don't leave me. I don't want to be alone.
I was too tired, too confused to regard the new world around me, though I would soon come to know it as the land of pulse and haze. Instead, I retired inside the small portion of the barracks that had come to the land with me, my hands shaking. I saw correspondences on my Husk top. One from Casper. The relief I'd felt getting away from my camp was hastily replaced with new terror. The guilt the survivor feels for leaving behind his peers to die. The guilt in realizing only after a long moment of peace that I had left someone behind. Casper. Carcat, what's happening? I was about to tell you about the meteor, but your hive disappeared. Please, Carcat, I'm really freaking out here.
Casper, are you still at the barracks?
Yes, please, help me, take me with you. Am I going to die?
No, you're not going to die. You need to stop freaking out, please.
It's so hot, Carcat, it's hot.
Don't talk. Just download this file and install the client application. It will let me save you.
Okay, I'm installing it. Carcat, it's loading slow. People are screaming outside so much, please.
Just hold on, Casper. Once the client loads, you need to find the machines I'm going to deploy.
I'm sorry, Carcat. I don't think I'm gonna make it.
Casper, shut your worthless mouth and get in gear. That's not how a future Thresh-Executioner talks. You're letting down the name of our noble order. Casper, answer me, you worthless swine. Casper. Stop fucking around. Casper. Casper.
For hours after, my eyes were glued to the screen, desperately waiting for his name to reappear online. I screamed at the screen while my guardian sprite watched. Casper never came back. Trolls as a race, especially those born native to the Imperial core Alternia, are fastidious. We are noble and adaptable, and our sentimentality is crushed by our determination. If I felt a shred of sorrow for Casper, I would have to push it deep inside me and stand upon it as a platform to reach new heights of resolve. After my tears dried, I exited my now lonely hive. As I inspected my surroundings, I reckoned my fate. In that moment, I was in hell, well and truly. My land was desolate, grimy, black rocks jutting from the ground, rising above a stagnant pool of robust, bright crimson, the shameful color of my own blood I'd never spilt in all my days' training. A lesser man than me might have chosen to take his own life. I am not such a man, though it did plague my thoughts every night since. It still does. But even so, I moved forward. I was alive. And I intended to stay that way, as I do now. What happened after my entry into the game will be explained in due time. My regret is the haste at which I have to produce this tome, and the speed at which details have to be divulged. At the same time, I know my audience, the humans, are familiar enough with game entry that I won't patronize them with every agonizing detail. You install the game, you prototype the kernel, you use the game items to enter the medium and your land. The first guy connects to the last guy, and that's that. It has been not easy to recount that first day in the game. I haven't had a chance to think about Casper in a long time. No matter. For now, I will have to detail what I know of Gamzee's own plight. For he was the next person to fall victim to the cruel twists of fate Scrub brought on all of us.
Editor's note. You mean suburb, right?
Ugh, no, I mean scrub. That's what we called it. Don't fucking jump in at dramatic moments, Dave. That was the perfect cliffhanger, and you completely spoiled it.
Editor's note. Shut up. LOL.
You shut up. I'll shut you up myself, you little xeno excrement cranium.
Editor's note. Cranky because you sleep in slime, aren't you?
Alright, Dave is hereby banned from making editor's notes. So, there. Carcat out, fuck-ass.
Homestuck Alternate Universe is written, produced, and narrated by Thunk McLovin. Also featuring Janaya as Kanaya, AE as Terezi, Bucky as Carcat, Pakin as Tavros, Shrimp as Nepeta, Technically Dead as Salix, Harper as Vriska, Eclipi as Gamzee and Equius, and West as Pfeffery. Illustrations are by Sunny Dionysus and Gastro. Please support Homestuck Alternate Universe on patreon.com/funkmclovin for early access, behind the scenes, and bonus features, but mostly to simply support the efforts of independent creators. Homestuck was written by and is the creation of Andrew Hussie. Thank you for listening.